Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome back to the Mesomat stream late at night. How is everybody doing tonight? Can you guys hear me okay in chat as well? I want to make sure because last time we had some technical difficulties and sound was not working properly. So, Sierra, good to see you. Brennan, guys, welcome into the stream. I appreciate y'all for coming in here. I'm going to say this now. I don't know how long I'm going to be on for. We're just going to kind of watch and monitor things here. I know a lot's happened in the last 7 hours that I've been gone. For all of y'all that do not know, I was celebrating my birthday today. Now that that is officially over with, we can move on. We can go on with things and kind of talk about what's going to be happening tonight, tomorrow here. I will mention now the severe weather threat back down here into Texas is pretty much almost over with. We had all that going on about the last 7 hours. We had a very strong tornado that was on the ground for a good 2 to 3 hours that went through Lubbock. It actually lifted once it got into Lubbock and then tried to get going again and did not do that. But we had a huge tornado in progress between the New Mexico and West Texas line earlier, and it was just brutal. I was watching it. We were eating dinner, and I was just watching this thing happen, and I'm like, golly, it's freaking crazy. So thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate y'all very, 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 very much. It was a great day. Went and ran a 5K tonight, and then I went out to eat dinner with some friends and with Roro, and it was just a good time. So glad to be back on here for you guys here. We're going to be on here for just a little bit. I don't know, like I said, how long we'll stay on here for. It's just going to depend on the weather. I will mention, if you're up here in Oklahoma, you need to be paying attention tonight. So we can kind of cross out this risk zone down here. It's pretty much done and over with. What we're going to be focusing on is Oklahoma tonight and even into southern Kansas here. We got a couple severe thunderstorm warnings back up here into southern Kansas and northwestern panhandle of Oklahoma here. We're going to get a line of storms that's eventually going to try to develop here. We've had a lot of showers and a lot of storms here, so we may struggle just a little bit to get these storms going, but I do expect a significant damaging wind threat to evolve later on tonight, and this is going to go well into the overnight hours all the way through tomorrow morning. And what this is actually going to do is it's going to lead into tomorrow's severe weather threat, where we will see this damaging wind threat move its way northeastward into Missouri, into Arkansas, Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, down in the southeast. So we'll have that risk zone to talk about again here in just a little bit. But I want to go ahead and start out by getting to these severe thunderstorm warnings that we have currently right now. No tornado warnings. A lot of those have set expired. So that is some good news here. Let me fix a couple of things here. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm going to talk about tomorrow, guys, here in just a little bit. We're going to stay focused on right now what we've got going on, but because tomorrow relies heavily on what happens tonight. So if I tell you one thing tonight, it's not going to matter because tomorrow morning is going to be a little bit different. So just a kind of a heads up there. We do got a couple tornado possible tags, severe thunderstorm warnings here. Excuse me. Back down here into like Elkhart, Kansas / Oklahoma. Excuse me. God bless America. And then we've got a severe thunderstorm warning here back down here into the northern side of Boise City here in Oklahoma as well. So these storms are just now starting to get going. I want to show you guys an example here of what's going to happen. So like I said, I mentioned the Texas mode or Texas severe weather is pretty much just about done and over with. We get a couple little straggling severe thunderstorm warnings down here. But what's going to happen later on tonight is even the potential maybe for a semi-mini derecho. And, you know, it's not going to probably meet derecho criteria. We all know that. But what's going to happen is this little cluster of storms is going to grow upscale. And you guys can just see what just happened here. I'll replay this out here once again. Big damaging wind event. Oklahoma City, you guys are going to see this around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning getting up here into, it's going to basically sideswipe the whole state. So you can see this, you know, it really gets going around 1, 2 a.m. and then moves into Oklahoma through the overnight hours here and does weaken as it gets into Tulsa. Maybe even by 7 o'clock in the morning, we could still be seeing a pretty significant damaging wind event here and even potentially a couple of tornadoes embedded within this here. So we're going to kind of watch how this unfolds here over the next little bit, kind of see if this does in fact get itself together. If it doesn't, then Mesomat will probably go to bed because Mesomat has another very long day tomorrow. We've got severe weather coverage to potentially do for tomorrow. So, we love that. We love that. We love that. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Kendra, good to see you in here as always. Hold on one second.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. New information, this considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Okay, sorry guys, I had to step away and flip my laundry over for a second. I am back. Sorry, y'all. All right, let's get back into this. As I was saying, here's the future cast for the rest of the evening here on what's going to happen in the overnight hours across Oklahoma. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, for everybody joining in here, the Texas severe weather risk is pretty much over with. This was about the last 7 hours of craziness we had. We got a couple severe thunderstorm warnings still out there, but what's going to happen across Oklahoma tonight is going to be our main event between now and 7 and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, guys, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I do appreciate it very, very, very much. We're going to watch this, kind of see how this progresses here. We got golf ball size hail now headed just outside of Hooker and Guyman, Oklahoma here. But this is just kind of an idea. This isn't going to happen to the T, but this kind of gives us an idea of what's going to happen over the next couple of hours. You guys can see a pretty significant wind events here unfolding, and this will probably produce a couple of embedded tornadoes as well in terms of the overnight hours here. So we're just gonna have to watch this, kind of see what happens. This is gonna be our event here in western Oklahoma that gets going. Other than that, guys, we have no tornado warnings. We really don't have a lot of, really a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. We got a couple back down here, one southwest of Amarillo, up here near Harford or Hereford. That one always gets me every single time. We got a new one that just popped up here near Friona. But most of these are for wind and for hail. Not really seeing a lot of rotation with these storms at all. Guys, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. I do. It was a great day today. I went and ran a 5K, about passed out in the humid, hot heat, and then went to go eat dinner. It was great. I had a lot of fun today, so. Oh, no, trust me, guys. I saw what happened in Lubbock today. I saw what happened. I saw the massive wedge tornado. Y'all should know, even when I'm not on stream, I'm keeping up with it. Trust me. No, I saw what happened in Lubbock today. We had a PDS tornado that was on the ground for a good 2 hours today. Every single storm chaser in the world was on that storm today. It was a big one. It was definitely a big one. Yeah, Lubbock, Texas got their forecast, and here's the thing about it: you guys are in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. You guys are getting a storm right now here on the east side, Canyon as well. 70-mile-per-hour winds with this storm. The good news is there's not going to be any more storms behind this. So, yeah, it's shoo-wee. So, 60 miles severe thunderstorm warning back down here southeast of that. But like I said, overall, the main risk for severe weather is pretty much back, done, and over with here. Let me go back up here to Oklahoma. I'm just going to see if we're going to get a new mesoscale discussion on this eventually at some point. I guess we're not going to get one. All right, let me see what the Triple HR model runs. So here's another simulation here of kind of what we could see. Guys, we got a long night to go here. We've still got a very intense line of storms that's forecasted to develop here. We could see significant winds over 75 miles per hour in through Oklahoma City tonight. This is going to be between everybody's sleeping. So if you guys do go to sleep tonight, you need to have a way to get alerts on your phones, whether it be no weather radio or just alerts on your phones in general. It's going to be a very loud night in Oklahoma across the whole entire state. And this will go through about midnight tonight through about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and kind of go from there. So, and we'll see storms reinitiate kind of over here into Kentucky and Missouri tomorrow. So, my plan is to stream tomorrow, guys. It'll probably be after our storms come through. I always like to wait just in case a tornado decides to spawn on top of us last minute. So I will have a live stream tomorrow. It'll probably just be way later on in the evening again once our storms come through. So we're going to be getting daytime storms, so it shouldn't be super, super, super crazy tomorrow. So, like I said, I don't really have like the best timing for you guys in Oklahoma other than the whole state's going to probably get some stuff. This could be anywhere between, 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. Because our line hasn't quite developed yet, it's really impossible to say when we're actually going to get this threat maximized through the overnight hours here. I will say, let's go take a look at mesoscale here. Let's see what we've got looking on mesoscale. Or not mesoscale, but mesoanalysis. I'm curious to see what things are looking like here in Oklahoma. That's to start. Let's look at our dew points. All right, dew points are in the 70s and 60s, temps in the 70s, so pretty supportive for severe weather. We do have some pretty decent ingredients out there. I believe our instability is also quite interesting as well. We got instability is going to be there. This is going to be a very interesting period here if these storms can get going. Around 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. Looks really, really rough in the OKC area. This is a hard one, guys. This is a very tricky one to kind of forecast here. Most of our tornado parameters are back over here into West Texas as well. So let me actually take a look at a couple things. Let's look at forecasted instability, see what this is going to do. Yikes. You can see the two different boundaries that are at play for tomorrow. Lots of instability in this area tomorrow, so I do expect it pretty significant. I think they're going to upgrade tomorrow to an enhanced risk, personally. We'll probably get an upgraded risk zone tomorrow. We're already looking at a slight risk that extends from basically New Mexico all the way up to Kentucky tomorrow. So, Pennsylvania, you guys are fine. You guys will more than likely be in a risk zone on Saturday, potentially. If they, I believe it is Saturday. I'll have to look here in just a second. Yeah, Saturday you guys might get squeezed into one, but I think today was only your day you were going to see potential severe weather. Yeah, Heather, that's what I always tell myself too. And I always say, the models are models. They try their best to forecast or simulate what's going to happen. Just looking at, just kind of looking at what we're seeing already right now. This is going to be, you guys can see right now, there's just a lot of rain, some showers and some storms, a couple wind and hail alerts out here. This doesn't look like much. It doesn't look like it's going to do anything. Give this about 2 to 3 hours, and this is going to look completely different. We're going to have one nasty line of storms. It's going to be racing its way through the state of Oklahoma tonight. So, that's what I'm saying. It may not look bad right now, but we're still in the like storm genesis phase up here in Oklahoma. So, like I said, it's we've got a pretty long night to go here. Can I pull up Helicity tracks? Yes, I can. I can do that. Is Lubbock in the risk area for tomorrow? Yeah, I'll head over here. Give me 2 seconds. Let's pull this up here really quickly. We should be getting a new run here. Yeah, so Helicity tracks. Let's go updraft. Let's go 0 to 3 kilometers. Yeah, this is concerning. I don't like to see this. I don't like to see these values up here. This is tornado potential rotation embedded within this line of storms that's going to be coming through. So I'm going to tell you guys now, I'm not going to be on covering all night tonight. I'm going to try and stay up as late as I can for you guys. I've been up since about 6 or 7 o'clock this morning as well, so I'm going to try and stay up as late for y'all as I can. But for any of y'all that live in Oklahoma, I cannot talk, that live in Oklahoma, you need to have alerts on your phones, guys. You need to know where to go when you get a warning. You need to know, what to do in a nighttime situation. So you're not always going to have me. I try my best to stay on here as late as I can, but you're not always going to have me every single time. So just have alerts on your phones, know where to go when you get tornado warnings. Tornadoes are more deadly in the middle of the night. We all know that. But this is pretty intense if this does verify tonight. So most of Texas is pretty much done and over with. I'm going to see the new run when it comes out here in just a minute. We can take a look at SPC for tomorrow. This is going to update in about 2 hours. So we will get a new risk zone. I do expect the slight risk to probably expand up a little bit more, and we'll probably get an enhanced risk somewhere in this corridor. I think personally, we'll see what that does. If you live in Western and Central Kentucky tomorrow, it could be quite an interesting day here. I live in this area as well, so we are going to probably get an elevated tornado risk and a hail threat with this tomorrow and a wind threat as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had a good birthday today. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. This does look like a fish. The shape of the SPC outlook a little bit kind of like a fish here. The risk zone, so we've got in our risk zones here, we've got a marginal risk in the dark green, general thunderstorms in the light green, and then a level 2 slight risk here. The big threat for tomorrow is going to be wind. We'll have a tornado threat with this, and we'll have a hail threat with this, but the wind threat tomorrow is going to be the biggest threat with this. And like I said, there probably will be some type of level 3 enhanced risk that gets introduced somewhere in this area, and we'll actually find that out here in about 2 hours. So we'll kind of wait and see what that does here. But the 2% tornado risk tomorrow is pretty big. This is if you guys, I want y'all to understand something. We had something very similar to this yesterday. We had a 2% tornado risk that extended from Texas all the way up into Illinois, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday, sorry. And it ended up producing a large wedge tornado outside of the Kansas City metro area 2 days ago in a 2% tornado risk. So for anybody in here that thinks that tornadoes cannot happen in a 2% tornado risk, you might want to check history again on that one. This is where we can see with the right setup, even though SPC has low probabilities, doesn't mean it's not zero. And I want you guys to understand that. This is a pretty big risk zone for a 2% tomorrow. So somebody will probably see a tornado in this risk zone. It's actually pretty high odds if you take the whole risk zone and kind of go from there. So, yeah, we got a 2% tomorrow. There will probably be a 5% somewhere in this area tomorrow. I'm kind of waiting to see what SPC does on that. But there will probably be a 5% somewhere in this risk zone tomorrow for elevated tornado threat. And then I do think a 30% wind threat will be also introduced, and maybe even a hail threat. We'll see what SPC does. And then we get to Saturday's forecast. And Saturday, it doesn't change a lot, guys. Saturday, we're looking at another level 1 and level 2 marginal risk and slight risk here. We got a little marginal risk back up here into portions of the High Plains, Minnesota Minnesota, up into North Dakota, South Dakota. And our main event is going to be back down here into the southeast, the Tennessee Valley, into the Carolinas, and even into the lower Ohio Valley here. Damaging winds and hail will be the main threats once again on Saturday. We'll also have an isolated to elevated tornado risk once again on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will also have another risk zone. Sunday, we got 2 areas to watch, guys. We've got the remnants of this system coming through today and tomorrow and into Saturday, moving off the East Coast on Sunday. And then we've got another system that's going to be coming in to finish things off here. So, love it. Absolutely love it. I will let you guys know now, for everybody that's just joining in here, I will not be doing weather coverage on Saturday. We've got friends and family that are coming in that are going to be semi-celebrating my birthday, even though my birthday was today. We're doing stuff this weekend. So I'll be in coverage mode later tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, later tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back on Sunday. So you guys won't see me again on Saturday, but you'll see me tomorrow, and you guys will see me on Sunday. So, yeah, and then, guys, we get to really start getting into where we have to watch the tropics. We are going to watch the tropics very, very closely going into the 3rd and 4th week of June. I know that's a little far out. We are kind of starting to see some signals that there could be some potential, the potential for maybe something developing later on, but that's still well far out. So we've got time to kind of watch that and kind of see what's going to happen with that. So, let me see if you guys have any questions on anything. Yeah, Siri, you're not going to get out of luck on this one, sadly. Is there anything in Memphis on Saturday? Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee, you guys are sitting in a slight risk on Saturday, and you also have a slight risk tomorrow. So both days, 2 days in a row. So, Connor's Climate Corner is his username on here. For if I'm ever on doing weather coverage, guys, Connor is also on. Basically, he's a really, really good friend. He's on our weather team. He also does his own thing too, but Connor's Climate Corner is the other guy you guys can watch if I'm never on. So I'm pretty sure he was on. I think he still is on right now. So, but yeah. Does day 3 look bad for Dallas? No, not at all. You guys are actually not in a risk zone, I believe. Actually, no, sorry. You guys are in the slight risk on the day 3 outlook, and we'll talk more about this. I don't know the details quite yet on Saturday yet, and the reason why that is because when you have days, guys, like today and tomorrow and Saturday, these are what's called MCS days, mesoscale convective days. So each risk zone depends on the day before's risk zone, meaning storms that move through the overnight hours and move through tomorrow, kind of like tonight. We're going to see a line of storms develop in Oklahoma, or at least potentially see a line of storms develop in Oklahoma, and then it's going to work its way through tomorrow morning into Arkansas. That's going to leave an outflow boundary out in front of that over into Kentucky, Tennessee, the southeast. So each day is very, very much dependent on the day before in terms of forecasting. It's not like, during the middle of April or May where we've got big troughing coming in where we know what we're going to get the day before. It's a little bit different when you have these little dips in the jet stream. So just something we got to watch here. We're not looking at like any tornado outbreaks or any severe weather outbreaks. I always call these days where we get sequences of severe weather, I call them multi-day outbreaks just because it technically is over a 4-day period. So I never want to get people mixed up with that in terms of what we're going to be seeing with that. So we're going to wait for our new model run to come in. I'm going to come back to the radar here and we're going to kind of watch and see what we're doing here. We really don't got a lot going on right now, so that's a good thing. Kind of keep things quiet. All of these warnings that we have that are currently out right now are for wind and for hail. So, timing on storms tomorrow. I'll talk more about that here in a few minutes again. I want to wait for a couple more updates to come in, and I'll kind of talk about that again. So, we get a new model run every hour from the HER model. The one I look at the most. It runs about every hour. So this is a new run. It'll start to come in here eventually at some point. God, I'm tired. Oh my goodness. I ran a 5K today, and I ran a 5K a couple hours ago, and it was exhausting. I don't typically get too exhausted, but when it's hot and humid outside and your air parcels are wetter than your actual dry air parcels, it makes it more disgusting outside. So, I'm going to leave the radar up here. This is the main area that we're going to be watching for the next little bit here. Like I said, western Oklahoma, you guys are going to be in a pretty long night tonight here. So we'll have to see what happens. I will mention as well, if you guys have not subscribed to me over on my YouTube channel, we are also simultaneously live on YouTube as well as on TikTok. Guys, I want y'all to know as well, I mentioned this in the live stream we did earlier this afternoon, or earlier on in the middle of the day. The TikTok is expected to quote unquote be go dark again on June 19th. So we're not guaranteed to keep this app forever unless a deal is still made. We're trying to keep up with all that stuff, but if something does happen on June 19th and this app does go away, we'll be live on YouTube, so make sure you guys head over there, subscribe. It's free to do. You guys can keep up with me as well. So it's so, I hate this whole TikTok thing, guys. It's so stupid. It's so stupid to me. Will embedded tornadoes be easy to spot on velocity? I mean, they can be. It just depends. Sometimes they're very, very quick and you can't catch all of them. A lot of times, most of them don't actually produce tornadoes. It just shows spin because that's, the radar beams coming back. But a lot of times they can produce tornadoes, yes. I'm actually shocked we haven't had a mesoscale discussion yet for Oklahoma.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. New information.
These flash flood
this
warnings.
Flash flood warning has been updated.
Yeah, Ricky, radar scope is a little bit complex to learn when you first get it, but I enjoy using it. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I haven't tried weather-wise yet. I've heard it's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I haven't heard, or I've heard it's pretty good. Am I tired? Yeah, I'm a little bit tired. Yeah. I ran a 5K today, guys, and went and ate dinner, so I'm tired from running, and I have a full stomach, so I'm a little bit sleepy, so. If nothing happens in the next hour or so,
new information
in terms of like significant severe weather, we might call it a night, and I'll just let you guys be for tonight. Like I said, the biggest thing, guys, is with these overnight events, these MCSs, we see these a lot this time of the year, and we're going to see these a lot this time of the year.
Has been updated.
Just have alerts on your phones. Know where to go when you get a warning at night. It's the same as the daytime, just at nighttime. Do the same thing you would do during the middle of the day situation. So, when you get a tornado warning, you go to a bathroom, a closet, a storm shelter, wherever you go. Keep yourself safe. Stay there till the warning expires, and then you're good to go. So, golly, I cannot stop yawning. Yeah, Natasha, I hear that a lot about Kansas, too, which I'm not a fan of. I've heard a lot of these NWS offices and news stations kind of drop the ball, and it's you can only do so much, but the coverage that a lot of these stations do these days are not even they're not even wall to wall anymore. I mean, I remember growing up watching, just watching, the Weather Channel, for instance, and a lot of these other, the Weather Channel used to be really, really, really good. Kind of slacked a little bit, but that's just kind of my opinion. And a lot of these other news stations, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. It's crazy. I'm not even a degreed meteorologist yet. And I feel like I do way better than half these news stations do personally. Yeah, Oklahoma City does do good. Oklahoma is a good state in terms of weather coverage. Kansas is wonky. I've got a couple of friends and a couple of weather people that live in, or a couple of weather people on my team that live in Kansas that can vouch for that too.
New information. This considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
I don't have WeatherWise set up right now, so I'll have to show you guys either tomorrow or on another day. Got a little bit of some inflow, but not looking at anything too crazy with this storm. Wichita, you guys should mostly just see some rain. You guys are in the marginal risk there. Could get a couple wind and hail events later on tonight, but mostly should be rain for you guys. Have a good night, CJW. The biggest thing, if y'all have been watching me for a while, most of y'all should know, I don't like to use the same apps that a lot of other people use. I like to try to stand out and be different. So I'll use Radar Omega. I like to use WSV3. It's the software that, it's this software, hold on a second, right here. It's only for PCs. I absolutely love using this software. It's freaking awesome. Just a little bit more detail, a little bit more graphic, shows some more examples on some different things here. But on days where we don't have a lot of stuff going on, I'll typically use Radar Omega or something like that. Yeah, Southwest Oklahoma tonight. I think you guys are going to be okay to sleep. Just have alerts on your phones. I'm going to wait for this new run to come in here in terms of our models and kind of see what they're going to do. Yeah, it's kind of been trying to downtrend a little bit here. I don't know. It's going to be so late when these storms get going tonight too, so...
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
A new flash flood warning has been issued. Yeah, that's going to be super, super late when these storms get going here. Let me go back to Clovis. Yeah, Clovis, you guys got some storms here. You do got a couple supercells in the area. Why is this not tornado warned? Or not even tornado warned, it's at least severe warned. Unless this is elevated rotation. That's a little bit concerning. Missouri's okay right now. Well, you guys will have a low and severe weather risk tomorrow. Arkansas will also be tomorrow. Or tomorrow morning we'll have a round of storms. We'll talk more about that here in a few minutes again. Yeah, just kind of looking at Clovis here. A little bit intrigued on this storm. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you, bud. I appreciate it. I am officially 24 years old today, guys. Crazy. What's up, Kimberly? Good to see you over there on YouTube. When's the tornado crap going to go away? Honestly, guys, we've not had a week out of this whole entire year where there's not been a threat for some type of severe weather, at least I can recall since January. We may be starting to enter a period going into June, end of June, where we might start to see severe weather kind of be gone for a little bit. Hopefully, that would be great. But it's going to be a while before we get to that point. If severe weather's not happening, hurricane season's going to be happening. I appreciate you, Kimberly. I do. Yeah, guys, I'm 24 today, so I officially didn't turn 24 until 9:42 tonight, so we're already past that point, but officially, yeah. My 5K was awful. So, guys, for any of y'all that don't know, I don't say I run professionally. I consider myself that because I compete a lot. I run 5Ks all the way up to marathons every single Saturday. Today was an exception. I found a 5K on my birthday across the river into Indiana, and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. Not me thinking that the humid weather outside was going to bother me as bad. It doesn't typically get to me very badly. Not even a mile into the race today, I just about collapsed because of how humid the air parcels were with the 79-degree temperatures outside. Typically, I'm okay with that stuff, but it just hit me in the face today. I ended up running like a 22-minute 5K today, which a lot of y'all will probably think that's really good, but it's not compared to what I usually run. I'm usually running...
This considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
I'm usually running anywhere between 18 and 19-minute 5K times, not 22 minutes, but it's fine. No, Josh, I'm going to be probably getting off here in a little bit. I'm so exhausted. I'm going to crash out. I got to get ready for tomorrow. We got to do weather coverage for tomorrow. So, like I said, if you're in Oklahoma tonight, guys, be weather aware. Damaging winds is going to be the biggest threat between, tonight all the way through until about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There'll be a tornado threat with it, isolated tornado threat with it. Embedded supercells can produce tornadoes, and then we'll kind of go from there. I don't know what time yet stream will be tomorrow, guys. We were supposed to get a pretty significant round of storms here in our backyard tomorrow around 1 to 2-ish. So as soon as those storms come through, I'll probably end up getting on stream. I just like to wait just that way I'm not on stream when a tornado warning happens because we've got kiddos, so... I'll have a video out to you guys tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. Again, that's my plan. Yeah, so far right now, not seeing anything too significant with this. They might, Casey. It would be for damaging winds. I'm not too sure, though. Is Virginia ever going to get any storms? Kimberly, if I could give you some storms in Virginia, girl, I would. I think you guys actually have a threat. Yeah, you guys actually have a marginal risk tomorrow. And then you've also got a slight risk / marginal risk on Saturday. So, yes. I can give you severe weather if that's what you want. Well, I appreciate you guys. I do. I want a hurricane. Can I get that? Lanny, you're going to have to wait a little bit. August is calling my name. You're going to make me wait till August, Lanny? It's crazy. If our Bermuda High can scoot a little bit further to the west and we get a low that sets up at a Caribbean, we might have our first storm eventually soon. Yeah, Eastern North Carolina, you guys will have a threat both on Saturday and on Sunday. I do think we need to watch the lower Ohio Valley going into Sunday and Monday, too. It looks like ridging is going to be a big thing as well. Going into the plains next week, we might get a pretty big break in severe weather going towards the middle of next week if some of these model runs keep picking up on that. Yeah, Lori, if you're in a slight risk, typically it just depends on what SPC issues right now, depending on if it's for today or which day is it for that you're in. Yeah, Jen, you're going to get some thunderstorms. It shouldn't be anything too bad, though. All Sunday for Eastern North Carolina? Mostly, yes. Yeah, Sunday will be Eastern North Carolina. Today in Midland? Okay, yeah, Midland, your storms are pretty much almost already done for the day, but you guys were in a 5% tornado risk, 15% wind threat, and a 15-hatch hail. Is it going to be bad in NC? I won't know the answer to that until we get closer to Sunday, guys. I can't answer timing questions or intensification storm questions until we get about 48 hours out, just due to what the models are spitting out. I live right where the purple's on your radar. Yeah, like I said, we're watching to see if this is gonna do anything tonight in Oklahoma, and right now it's expected to do something. I wonder if we're gonna be able to get this thing going here. And the reason I say that is we've had a lot of thunderstorms out in front of this using the atmosphere up this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. We're forecasted to get a pretty significant wind event across Oklahoma tonight. It'll weaken as it moves through the state clearly. But potentially will produce a pretty significant outflow boundary tomorrow for our area, which I'm not thrilled about either. Yeah, Missouri, you guys are going to be fine until about tomorrow afternoon. You'll have a chance for an isolated tornado, some damaging winds, and some hail. So... yeah, you guys in Lubbock today actually got really, really lucky that you did not get hit by that tornado. You guys got some significant wind, some hail. You guys had a large tornado that was on the ground just outside of Lubbock for a good 2 hours straight, and it lifted the second it got into the city. I was watching that on radar while we were out today. I appreciate you, Kimberly. Yeah, it was wild. I can't hit everything, guys, in terms of being on coverage. Like I said, thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you, Patrick. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, can't be here for everything, guys. But I try my best to be here as much as I can for you guys. Well, happy birthday to you, Patrick. Heck yeah, birthday twins. Let's go. So, yeah, Northeast Oklahoma, if you're up in like the Tulsa area tonight, wind and hail will be your biggest threats. I'm going to tell you guys now, you need to go to bed tonight with alerts on your phones, because what's going to happen is we're going to get a pretty big line of storms that's going to move through this state tonight. Can't rule out a couple tornadoes, can't rule out maybe even a strong tornado if mesoscale can do its thing or outflow boundaries can do its thing. But damaging winds and hail is going to be the biggest threats for tonight. I'm not going to be on all night tonight, guys. I'm actually barely able to keep my eyes open right now. Like I said, I ran a 5K tonight, and I'm stuffed on food. So we're going to get ready to cover tomorrow evening. That's my plan. Like I said, I'll have a video out to you guys tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. Central Time. It'll basically talk about everything that's going to happen over the next couple of days. It's been one of those days today. So... yeah, the whole state of Oklahoma tonight, guys, is in a risk zone for wind, at least, with an isolated tornado risk. So I expect there to be a pretty significant event tonight across Oklahoma. It's not going to be an outbreak. It's not anything to, like, lose sleep over. I'm being so honest when I tell you guys that. It's a wind event. Go to bed with alerts on your phones. Know where do you go when you get a tornado warning in the middle of the night. Tornadoes in the middle of the night cause the worst. They cause more fatalities than anything else. Let London and Somerset, Kentucky from a couple weeks ago tell that story as well. Just know where to go. If you are weather aware going to bed, you will be fine. I love to tell people that. Alerts are on, alerts on, alerts on, please. Because on nights for tonight where I can't cover all night long for you guys, or, there's not coverage, you need to keep yourself safe. You need to keep yourself safe regardless of if I'm on or not. I preach that till I'm blue in the face. Texas is going to be fine tonight. So Lubbock, you've got the remnants of this little storm that's moving out of your area now. Lubbock, you're going to be fine for the rest of the evening. You should be fine for the rest of the evening here. Most of these storms are well off to the north of you guys, up towards Amarillo. Texas's storms will be dying out here. We're really, like I said, just going to be focused on Oklahoma tonight. This is going to be our main event here. I want to tell you guys something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all, and I appreciate
new information. This severe thunderstorm
shut up, Overlay.
Has been
I love and appreciate all this freaking support you guys have been given, whether it's just this today, the weeks, the months, the last couple of years. You guys have been freaking awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. I love getting on here and doing weather coverage for you guys. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life until the day that I die. I don't want to work for a news station. I don't want to work for a National Weather Service. And I definitely don't want to work for anything else outside of this. I want to be my own person and continue to give you guys the best coverage.
New
so
information.
That's my goal.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
That is my goal. I am not as big as some of these other YouTubers like Ryan Hall and Max Velocity, but I do respect them very much highly. So one of these days, I expect to get to that point, whether it's, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, even beyond that point. I'm going to be sitting in this chair every single day, and Rochelle will, vouch for me on that as well. Until the day that I'm gone, I will be in this chair giving y'all weather coverage, even if I'm 80 or 90 years old and can't get a single sentence out of my mouth. We will be here, I promise. That is what this team is for. That is what we are for. So, thanks, Lainey. I appreciate it. I'm gonna struggle pronouncing cities during hurricane season. I dread it so much. And there goes Rose sneezing in the living room. Achoo.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
We might call stream here, guys, in a few minutes. We don't got a lot going on. Try and get some sleep. That way we can be ready to go tomorrow. If we have storms ongoing tomorrow morning, I might hop on here super, super early for you guys. It'll just depend on what's happening. We've got one severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma and one in Texas. That's literally it. Missouri's not going to see severe weather, guys, until early tomorrow morning. It's going to be after 8 a.m. I should have an update to you guys out well before then, hopefully. I'm kind of look at the models again here for a minute. So here's what the latest HER model run has. All these storms are going to die out in Texas. What we're really, like I said, just watching is a big wind bag event across the state of Oklahoma tonight. Significant winds could exceed 75 miles per hour. There could be a couple of embedded tornadoes. I probably expect multiple tornado warnings to be issued tonight across northern Oklahoma. I think that's definitely a possibility. Where you guys see those little black helicity tracks embedded in there, those are embedded circulations that the models pick up on. It doesn't mean it's going to happen to the T, but like I said, this would be a pretty decent little area here for some damaging winds. This is through about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning here. So like I said, go to bed with alerts on your phones, know what to do when you get warnings. And then by around 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, this will be weakening. But what's going to happen is you guys see this little blob of convection here. These are going to set what's called outflow boundaries out. And outflow boundaries help initiate storms the next afternoon. So as we move these outflow boundaries into, eastern Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky here, this is where the stage is going to be set for, I think, a higher chance of severe weather tomorrow. There will be severe weather back down here into the plains tomorrow as well. We'll talk more about that in tomorrow's video whenever we get to that point. So it's all dependent on what happens tonight. So also just looking at the new GFS model run coming through. I like to see this. I like to see this going toward the middle of next week, guys. So this is going to be up here towards June 12th. Not a lot going on. So there will be some little disturbances in our jet stream here. But it's not going to be anything like we've been seeing this week. I'll tell you that. So we might actually get a high pressure system to start to develop. And that's going to allow for very, very warm temperatures. We can actually take a look. Let's go look at our temperatures here for just a second. I'm curious on this. Joplin, your storms will be probably between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Could be a little before that, but it'll just depend.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
This is what's so interesting. Like, we're in the middle of June, and we're still keeping temperatures in the 60s for the eastern half of the United States. It's so weird to me. We should be seeing well above temps. This is a little bit of a weird month here. Typically, we already see triple digits happening, so that's interesting. Lenny will be upper 80s. Yeah, Texas, you guys are going to be fine for tonight. If you see anything, a couple of rumbles of thunder out there, maybe some wind, some hail, but the worst of it's already over with. Sunday looks really interesting down here in Texas. We're going to have to watch this. Texas and Oklahoma again on Sunday. I'm curious here on something. Yeah, that's another mesoscale day. God, dew points are going to be pushing the 80s. That is disgusting. Yeah, it's elevated rotation, Karmas. It's elevated rotation. That's why they're not warning it. It's not reaching all the way down to the surface. Yeah, these dew points are gross. Absolutely gross. Gross. We really might start to get the high plains going next week, too. This will be interesting to watch. Got a lot of just different things. I'll talk more on this stuff tomorrow in stream. We'll do a whole breakdown of the month of June tomorrow, or at least a good portion of June. Yeah, we'd have something up here in the plains. Super tame May. I wouldn't even say May was tame, though. That we had a lot of outbreaks in the month of May. See, and here's another really weird thing. We don't usually get these big troughing setups going into June. We typically talk about little shortwave troughs like this, where we get these little wind events here. This is, you know, we got to watch this, and this is going to play a big factor going into July and August as well for severe weather season. Last year when we entered the month of June, we didn't end up seeing a lot of severe weather in the month of June. It was more of just ridging. Every storm chaser was ill because there was no storms out there to chase. So we're going to really just have to watch day to day, week to week here. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting summer. That's all I've really got to say. I think severe weather season will continue to persist. We've got to watch hurricane season this year. My job, guys, or at least my goal this year for hurricane season is to give you all the most alert times as I can without giving, inaccurate information, because we're going to have a lot of error with our models this year, specifically our GFS, wanting to show Fantasyland hurricane runs. So I think hurricane season peaks mostly between August, September, and October. You can get storms in June. You definitely can get storms in July. Beryl is definitely an example
warning has been updated.
of that. But we'll talk more about that when we start to see storms potentially pop up. So let me go back down here for a minute. Yep. I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go ahead and get ready to call the stream here. I'm going to try and get some rest. Everybody get some rest. We don't need to stay on right now. There's not much going on. If you are across the state of Oklahoma tonight, this area right up in here specifically, be weather aware tonight. We are going to get a line of storms. It's going to develop at some point. It's going to have to develop at some point. There's going to be a forcing mechanism that's going to come in with the front here. It's just taking a lot of time to get going here. So have alerts on your phones. Know where to go when you get tornado warnings. It's an overnight event. Most of y'all should know what to do in the state of Oklahoma. That's really the only area tonight that I'm concerned about is Oklahoma. We'll have fresh new information for you guys tomorrow morning once I wake up. I'm going to try, if I can go to bed now, cross your fingers I fall asleep. If I can go to bed now, I can get up around 7, get a video out to you guys by 8. And if anything is ongoing tomorrow morning and I need to get on for coverage, I'll be on tomorrow morning for coverage. So that'll be the game plan. But I'm going to try and get some sleep because I know we probably have a very long day tomorrow. So, and I'll be actually able to cover tomorrow. So, let's see. Do I have any last minute questions here before we get things off? How come we get tornadoes in the Midwest, but not in Florida where they say heat makes tornadoes form? So heat is not, I want to clarify on that for kind of a little bit of a teaching moment. Tornadoes are not just, genocided off of heat. You need shear, you need decent dew points, you need low level moisture return, you need a lot of things. It's not instability that just causes tornadoes to happen. And really, tornadoes aren't driven off of instability. You can see tornadoes without heat. We've seen tornadoes in 36 and 46 degree weather, and ask North Dakota that back in March. We saw a tornado on the ground, a very photogenic tornado in a 36 degree dew point with a 42 degree temp. So it's just, you got to have everything come together. And for severe weather season, Florida, you guys saw your biggest tornado outbreak when Hurricane Milton made landfall last year. We saw multiple EF3 and EF4 tornadoes. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all that watched me last year, watched us cover that. That was one of the biggest tornado outbreaks I've ever seen in the state of Florida in my 20 years of living on this planet. It was insane. It was crazy. It caused a lot of destruction. The tornado outbreak caused more destruction across the state of Florida than the actual hurricane did. So that was a lot that happened last year. So typically Florida, you make up for your tornadoes during hurricane season. You get those outer bands of those storms that move in, and you get spin up tornadoes, and sometimes strong spin up tornadoes. So hopefully we don't have anything like that this year, but we're expecting another above average season. So it's definitely on the table, I think. Chicago, y'all are quiet and boring. You ain't got much going on. So yeah, for my Oklahoma people, guys, just make sure you have alerts on your phones. I know I'm going to get a message from somebody that follows me. Why weren't you live at yada yada in the morning when there's a tornado coming through Oklahoma? Because I'm exhausted. I'm tired. That's why. I can only do so much, guys. I try, like I said, we try to get on here every single day. I post every single day. Little Matthew can only do so much. My weather team can only do so much. So the fact that I'm on here on my birthday with you guys instead of doing something else tells y'all something. So I appreciate you guys. I do. All right, let me take a look at something one more time here before I get ready to wrap things up here with you guys. Yeah, I definitely want to watch going into to late next week. I think a big change back to some severe weather will be on the table. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. I'm officially 24 years old, guys, so I'm a baby. I'm still definitely a baby. So, Shanna Tulsa, you're going to see your storms well after 3 o'clock in the morning, between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Strong damaging winds could exceed 75 miles per hour. Could see a couple isolated tornadoes embedded in there, and then there will be hail with it more than likely. It's going to be a loud night in Oklahoma, definitely for sure. Whether this thing organizes or not, it's definitely going to be a loud night in Oklahoma. And all of y'all that are in Oklahoma can vouch tomorrow morning when we get on here, and you guys can tell me how it was. So. No, we never got a tornado emergency out of the Lubbock tornado. It was a PDS tour, and the reason why is because it lifted before it went into Lubbock. Ohio's fine tomorrow. I'm not expecting anything in Ohio in terms of tomorrow morning. Oh, heck yeah. I love sharing birthdays with people. I love that. That makes me happy. I love that. So I'll have a video out to you guys tomorrow morning between 9 and 10 a.m. That's my plan. If I can get on earlier, I definitely will. If for whatever reason I wake up tomorrow morning and we've got tornado warnings, I might just hop on stream. So that might be what we do with that there. So, but I am going to wrap stream up, guys. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe out there. Alerts on your phones tonight in the state of Oklahoma. Please, 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 guys. I mean that very full-heartedly. Anything can happen when you got sheer and a little bit of instability in the atmosphere. So I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Video update between 9 and 10. Be safe. Be weather aware. Good. Bye, y'all.